Hi everyone, Joe Conroy with Hartford Retirement Planners. Hope you're doing well. And in today's video, we're going to cover two things: some fun upcoming events that we have planned at Hartford Retirement Planners. And the second, we're going to talk about the markets and how we kind of look at them. So let's just get right into it. All right, so some fun events. Mark your calendars. June 23rd, we're shutting down Main Street. It's the Bel Air Town Derby. So now, last year was the first annual event. This year, June 23rd, we have, I think, 19 different cars. Last year it was 10. Kids race these soapbox derby cars down. It is so much fun, and we're a little competitive, so we hope we have a good showing this year. Come out and cheer us on. Also, July 4th. On July 4th, we have a parade party. Now, I know I've talked about this the last couple of years. This is the third annual, and we do it right. Put bleachers in the front. We have a three-piece band coming. We actually got a trailer with luxury bathrooms. I know that was a little bit of a difficult time last year. We were restricted, so we fixed that. And we have a food truck coming. We have a face painter on the front porch. We've got ice cream cart that'll be going around. Super fun family day. If you've never been to the Bel Air Parade, definitely put it on your list. And we hope that you join us. There's going to be a flyer attached to the email that we send out to clients. Check it out for details. Let us know if you can make it. All right, so let's shift gears and talk about our investments and the market. I know I've gotten some feedback from viewers of these videos in the past, and it seems like data is well received. So we'll start with data, and then I'll get into a little bit of an anecdote. So I was looking at some research from Hartford Funds. That's not Hartford, but there's a T there. So we went back to 1960, and we ran a few different scenarios. So one is if you were an all-stock investor starting in 1960, held your investments all the way through to the end of 2023, or maybe you're a balanced, diversified investor, so not just stocks, mix in some fixed income, some bonds as well. And then there's this third category, so let me explain that. The third category is someone who's reactionary to the markets. And over that time frame since 1960, there's been 7 different times the market has dropped 30% or more. So in this third category, the person that reacts to a down market, they get out of the market after it drops 30% and they go to cash for 2 years, and then they get back in. So who ended up the better investor, who had more money as a result of what these different strategies are? So the person that was reactionary to big down markets ended up still positive. So we started with $10,000 in 1960. Reactionary investor ended up with just shy of $600,000. $10,000 turning into $600,000 is pretty impressive, but not when you compare it to the diversified investor who's got a mix of stocks and bonds. That investor ended up with close to $2 million just by staying invested over that same time frame and enduring the temporary declines each of those 7 times that the market dropped 30% or more. The first investor I mentioned was the all-stock investor, and they ended up with over $5 million. So staying invested in all equities, over $5 million over that time frame. The more balanced investor, just close to $2 million. And if you're a reactionary investor and you get out when the market's down, less than $600,000. So we know who the clear winners are. All right, so Joe, what's the point of those 3 scenarios? Well, let me ask a question. When's the best time to run a fire drill? Is it after your house is already on fire or before, right? Obviously before. So what we want to do with clients and with investors, anyone that's following along, is we want to run fire drills before the house is on fire, or for us investors, before the next market downturn. Now, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that every single downturn we've ever experienced in the history of the stock market has always been temporary, and it has always completely and fully recovered. Now, I can't guarantee that for the future, but there's a lot of history there, and I think it tells us a little bit about what we might expect from the next temporary decline. And let's take a second and talk about just the emotions, right? So people don't make financial decisions with the mindset of, oh, I know this is going to be terrible, I'm going to do it anyway, right? People, in our experience as financial advisors that have been around for a while, make decisions that aren't in their best interest based on overwhelming emotions. So that's why we run these fire drills, is so that we prepare for the next market decline. It might not be for several months or several years. Nobody's going to know unless you have that crystal ball that works. But we know that there will be some type of market turbulence in the future, And we want to invest in your education and make sure that you know how to understand that and profit from it, or hold to your plan for the best possible outcomes. So based on the numbers that I just went through, reacting after the market downturn does not produce good results. It never has in the history of the market. And why do people make emotional mistakes when it comes to investing, especially in down markets? Well, there's data and there's science that proves that we feel the intensity of a loss twice as much as we feel good about the potential gain. So I'm sure if you're watching this video and you saw your portfolios, whether you're a client of ours or anybody else that has investments, in 2022 and into 2023, we were feeling that, looking at the statements, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for us with the money that we personally invest, which is the same way that we invest client money. So we do have a good sense of what clients are feeling as well. Those emotions are twice as intense as the positive feelings we get from the recovery. So now we're sitting at, maybe just hovering around all-time highs. Do we feel that much better than we felt worse just a year and a half ago? Probably not. The more awareness we have with our emotions, the better we can handle them and make good, sound financial decisions for our secure future. I saw a quote from Andre Agassi, which I thought was kind of interesting. So let me share that with you real quick. I mentioned that losses feel twice as worse as the benefit that we get from gains or winning. And I think Agassi kind of summed it up. Earlier in his career, he was being labeled by different media and journalists as a little bit of a choke artist. He wasn't able to complete the Grand Slam. And eventually he got that monkey off his back and he won his first Grand Slam tournament at Wimbledon. So he was asked about how it felt to finally get that monkey off his back, and here's what he had to say. "I don't feel that the Wimbledon has changed me. In fact, I feel as if I've been let in on a dirty little secret. Winning changes nothing. Now that I've won a slam, I know something very few people on earth are permitted to know. A win doesn't feel as good as a loss feels bad, and the good feeling doesn't last as long as the bad. Not even close." I'm sure just on a day-to-day scale, when we lay our head down on the pillow, we might go through a low light, not highlight, but low light reel of our day or our week, where we think about the awkward interaction or the handshake that wasn't a good one, or whatever little things. We kind of dwell on those, but we aren't really as good as humans. It's just human nature focusing on the good and all the positives that happen. So every market downturn in the past has always fully recovered. Again, compliance won't let me guarantee that's going to be the case going forward, but we do have a lot of confidence that long-term investors will continue to be rewarded for their patience and for not taking an emotional decision when we should be thinking logically. So the final point I'll make here is that when the markets drop, some see panic and others see opportunity. Who do you think is going to profit the most out of those two people? So far, it's been those who see opportunity or stick with the plan. All right, now leave you with this. So this is a great time for reviews. We just finished with tax season, so hopefully the numbers are still kind of fresh in our minds. It's a great time to review your plan, your portfolios, and everything else that you want to talk about. So please reach out to us. Talk to Lori from our office. Let's schedule that review. Let's review the strategy, make sure that everything we have in place still matches what your goals and expectations are for the future. If things have changed, let us know about it. We're here to help. I also mentioned that we just finished tax season. If you were surprised by taxes, and we've had a few different conversations with clients over the last couple of months, not necessarily as a result of investments, but they just didn't really know why they owed more money than they expected, and the accountant maybe didn't do a great job of explaining it. That's where we can come in and talk to you, look at the tax return, and give you some thoughts on what we see and what we could do to try to fix that and take some surprise out of the next tax return that you have. Usually, whenever we have a surprise during tax time, it's not a pleasant one. Let's see if we can coordinate and help you out, prevent some of those unpleasant surprises for the future. So reach out. We would love to help. And as always, thank you for watching.